Hello and welcome. As you can tell by the title, I'm the obsessed movie man, O.M.M. I don't believe that there is a creative way to explain how spectacular Ghostbusters is. It was a rare comedic 80s movie that had a bizarre scenario, actors playing seemingly odd characters, and some jokes that took a while for some people to get. Yet the movie turned out to be a sensation. The story was terrific, the characters were memorable, and the jokes ended up becoming some of the best in the history of comedy. Wait, did I just contradict myself? Anyway, Ghostbusters was a major success and one of the greatest comedies to have come out of the 80s. The plot. Doctors Peter Venkman, played by Bill Murray, Ray Stantz, played by Dan Aykroyd, and Egon Spengler, played by Harold Ramis, are parapsychologists who are fired from the university that they work at, because the university believes their work to be, well, ridiculous. Out of jobs, the three decide to open a business where they capture ghosts. Thus, the Ghostbusters are born, ready to serve all supernatural elimination needs. Their first client is a woman, Dana Barrett, played by Sigourney Weaver, whose apartment appears to be haunted. What she and the Ghostbusters don't know is that the apartment is actually a gateway to another dimension that can summon the demigod Zool, a worshipper of the Sumerian god Gozer. The Ghostbusters try solving the case while at the same time capturing other ghosts around the city, putting up with an EPA agent, Walter Peck, played by William Atherton, and hiring a new Ghostbuster named Winston Zeddemore, played by Ernie Hudson. So, what stands out about the story? I think it's the characters. They are all so vastly different from each other that it makes for great comedy when the actors play off the other's personality. Peter is a cynical and sarcastic smartass, Ray is very eager, excited, and childlike, Egon is for the most part serious and well-reserved, yet he is as much an oddball as the rest. Winston is somewhat the voice of reason and is pretty much the most normal member of the group. The supply of comedic characters doesn't end with the Ghostbusters though. The supporting cast has as much a presence as our heroes. Dana is a kind yet no-nonsense woman, Walter Peck is a snooty and unreasonable stick-in-the-mud, Louis Tully, played by Rick Moranis, is the dweeby neighbor, and Janine, played by Annie Potts, is basically another version of Peter. She's both cynical and she enjoys hitting on people, namely Egon. All of these characters work perfectly and they're what hold the film together. The visual effects are done extremely well, showcasing great use of both practical and some digital effects. There actually aren't a whole lot of ghosts, but when they are seen, I enjoy looking at their unique designs. There's the librarian ghost, the blue shrieking ghost, the cab driving ghost, Zool and Vince Clortho, and of course, Slimer. One thing I never got was why the ghosts the Ghostbusters fight don't look like human ghosts. I never really understood that, but then again, maybe all of these retro designs were made to help distinguish each ghost personality, just like the personalities of the main cast. Gozer was also an interesting design. For a long time, I had a hard time determining Gozer's gender. I know it's a silly thing to think about, but it always bothered me that I could never tell. Apparently Gozer is played and voiced by female actresses, yet the Ghostbusters do refer to Gozer as a male sometimes. It doesn't really matter though, because Gozer takes on another appearance that would become iconic to the Ghostbusters. But we'll get to that near the end of the review. There are two more factors that are what makes Ghostbusters so memorable. One of them is the music, specifically the theme song. Damn, that's a catchy song. That's Ray Parker Jr.'s gem, and it's glorious. It was popular then, and it's sure as hell popular now.
Something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! There's something weird, and it don't look good. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
But the main thing that makes Ghostbusters so great is the humor. The humor plays a significant part in this film. If the movie was not intended to be a comedy and all these jokes and gags were written out, I think this movie would be, in lack of a better word, a bust. The movie was written by two of the actual Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. Aykroyd provided all the paranormal information while Ramis provided scientific input. Comedy was in the script and each character has their own perfect moments, but I think a lot of it comes from Bill Murray, who apparently improvised many of his lines. There's just something interesting with how he delivers his lines that makes it so funny. Maybe it's because he's being sarcastic but acting like all this crazy stuff that's going on is normal for him, but I don't know. Any way you look at it, Bill Murray steals the show in the comedic route. It's not just Murray though. Everyone has their own perfect moments, and many famous lines have come from Ghostbusters. Speaking of which, here are my top 10 favorite lines from Ghostbusters. Number 10. I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Number 9. Nobody steps on a church in my town.
Number 8.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass! Number 7. Since I've joined these men, I have seen shit that will turn you white. Number 6. I collect spores, molds, and fungus. Number 5. He slimed me. Number 4. Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light. Number 3. Yes, it's true. This man has no dick. Number 2. Human sacrifices, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria! And the number 1 Ghostbuster line is... Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes! Back to the review. Is there any way to perfectly sum up Ghostbusters? I think so. By discussing, quite possibly, the best scene in the entire movie. The Ghostbusters confront Gozer, who demands them to choose the form it will take to destroy humanity. Peter tells the Ghostbusters to clear their minds and not think of anything, but Gozer says that a form has been selected. Peter, Egon, and Winston admit that they didn't choose anything, to which they discover that Ray had an image that just popped in there. Egon points out across the sea where they see a massive figure. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. The most absolute funniest and hysterical joke in the whole movie, and very likely to be one of the funniest moments in all of cinema, is when that giant marshmallow man stomps around New York City with this great big grin on his face. If this is how humanity goes out in the end, I'm all for it. I have no problem with Stay Puft Marshmallow Man coming down my street, raining marshmallowy chaos upon the earth. But that's just me. All the characters' reactions are priceless. Ray, Egon, Winston, and Peter, who simply says, "There's something you don't see every day." Biggest understatement I have ever heard. And that's Ghostbusters for you, delivering clever comedic dialogue, impressive effects, and a very talented cast. It has spawned video games, 2 animated series, and 1 sequel. Will we ever see those guys put on their proton packs again and emerge triumphantly on the big screen one last time? It will be hard now, especially with the loss of Harold Ramis, but I still think it can be done in one way or another. I think Harold would like to see it happen. In the meantime, enjoy listening to that classic 80s theme song, roasting marshmallows, and put on Ghostbusters. And remember who to call when you've got ghosts. This movie gets 5 Slimers out of 5. Thanks. This is an O.M.M review. This is O.M.M signing out.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.